Hey. No, that was bad.
Hi, friends.
That's creepy.
That's good.
Hello and welcome to Spirit Ninja's Spiritual AF podcast. This is episode number 13. And what are we going to talk about, Bart?
Oh my God. We're going to talk about so many things because Holly just got back from Egypt.
I did. I'm still tired. I'm still not fully processed from it. And so this podcast might be a little scattered.
Yeah.
It's a little all over the place.
Well, things went down. You know, we've been experiencing some changes. Holly's definitely experienced some changes because she saw some stuff.
Talk a little bit about the woo-woo of Egypt that I experienced and my new life embodying my woo-woo.
Yeah.
And
we're coming into life from a very or coming at life in a very different way these days.
Also, sound is way better.
And there's also that.
Mics.
So, changes.
Yeah, hope you enjoy the episode and stay tuned after this.
Hey, you just turned into the Spirit Ninja's Spiritual as podcast, the show that aims to inspire, uplift, and questions everything. And now your hosts, Bart Rigel and Holly Emerson.
Welcome, everybody, to our Spiritual AF podcast.
Yeah, this is episode number 13, I think.
Wow, episode 13. Where does time go?
I know, it's crazy, right? Like, it feels like we just started this silly thing.
I know, 13 episodes, and I'm so sorry it's taking us 13 episodes to finally get our sound fixed, but we have new microphones. We have a new setup, and so
Thank you, baby
hoping
Jesus.
that this will be a much more enjoyable listening experience for all of you lovely listeners out there.
Yes, for everyone involved. Thank you very much
Thank you for bearing with us.
Staying tuned and bearing with us while we sort our stuff out here.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways,
Holly just got back from Egypt. She was there for a full solid 16 days, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was an incredible journey.
Yeah, I stayed at home with the beast.
Mm-hmm.
And
you could have come.
I could have. But for some reason, it just wasn't meant to be this time around.
Yeah, it didn't speak to you the same way. So
yeah,
that's totally fine.
Now, okay. So I know that this has been a trip that you've been looking forward to for a long time. Because I know when I first met you, you were talking about that, if you ever see the pyramids and stuff, like it's going to be very emotional. So why? Like, what was it about, Egypt that spoke to you so much?
I don't even know if I could really explain it, but it's just when I was a kid, I remember seeing the pyramids and something about them just moved me. And I just always wanted to go. And I always said, like, when I go, it'll be like, I'll cry because I've just, I don't know. I've just always, maybe it's a connection that I felt with Egypt. Maybe I've had past lives there.
Ooh.
And so that's why I felt so drawn to Egypt. And yeah, the first morning I got like 2 hours of sleep because I arrived at 3:30 in the morning. And so finally at the hotel at 4:30. And I was up at 7 because we were leaving at 8 o'clock for a camel ride.
Yeah.
Camel ride around or just like in front of the pyramids. And so that was a really cool experience because we were on these camels and then suddenly you see you kind of went around the corner and there were the pyramids. And I just remember like just feeling really present and just feeling gratitude and just like, wow, I can't believe. Yeah, I did. There was a few tears. I didn't bawl or anything, but there was a few tears of this like.
Arriving? Like, did it feel like home for you? Like, if, let's say, assuming you had a past life there, like, did it feel like coming home?
It felt surprisingly comfortable there. Yeah. Like, I've traveled a lot, and there's places where it just feels new, and I feel overwhelmed and like intimidated in a way, but there I didn't really feel that. Like I just felt comfortable, even though Cairo is completely chaotic. That city is insane. The energy is so insane there. But outside of Cairo and at the pyramids and at the other temples and tombs that we visited, It was pretty chill energy. Yeah, I liked it.
I love it. Very cool. So how did you feel like, now you're back? I mean, do you feel any different? Like what's going on inside you right now?
I feel a lot more connected and aware of parts of myself that I hadn't necessarily been introduced to
Mhm.
or connected with. Yeah.
Super cool. And
Mhm.
actually, let's back this up like just really quick. So this wasn't just like your typical like tourist type trip though.
No, it wasn't at all. I had actually booked to this trip with my spiritual teacher, Brooke, and this other fabulous lady named Gaia, who I met for the first time on the trip. So this trip was put on by Brooke and Gaia, and it was something that they had decided they were going to do for one time only in this lifetime. And so
Amazing.
myself and 29 other people went on this trip with Brooke and Gaia.
Amazing.
And so we did a lot of spiritual, like, I'm trying not to sound too woo woo. We did a lot of spiritual work in the sense
babe,
of
babe, this
like
is the spiritual as
initiations.
fuck podcast, okay?
Yeah,
It's spiritual
yeah.
as fuck.
We
Come on.
did lots of initiations, went through different portals and vortexes, and just had a lot of gifts and magic experienced.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if that sentence made sense.
Okay, so you don't need to get into like the specifics of it, but you saw some stuff, like some stuff that would make some people question reality, right?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I definitely did. And felt some stuff that I've not experienced before.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So you're a different person now, or like what's up?
I don't know if I'd
Like,
say I'm a
how
different
are,
person.
How are you
I
gonna
just
live
feel
your life
like
differently going
I just
forward?
feel like I'm more connected and I'm more in tune with my magic.
Yeah.
We all have magic, and I didn't know necessarily what mine was.
hmm
I
Now,
knew
of
some of
course,
it, but there was more about myself that unfolded that I'm now connected to and getting to learn more about.
and of course, like we don't mean magic as in
Pulling rabbits out of hats?
yeah. I mean, yes. Can you do that?
No, I
No.
can't.
Okay. Just had to clear that out too.
I haven't learned that magic trick.
Yeah, but I like we've talked about this on this show before. I do believe that we all have abilities that we all innately are natural, but most of us like just don't believe that they're possible. So hence we like shut that stuff down, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
can you tell us anything?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm a knower.
Yeah.
And so there's some people who are seers, there's some people who feel. I do feel as well, but I'm more of a knower. So there's just things that I just know. I used to always think, I'm sure there's people out there who can relate to this. And I used to just think that I was really judgmental because I would meet somebody and I would know them. Like I know people's kind of essence, like their souls. I know what kind of person they are. And it sounds really judgmental. So I used to just think I was just really judgmental. But there's a difference.
Yeah, and you're not talking about like, their essence, like their soul. Like if you're not saying that they're evil, shitty people, because like there's no such thing as that.
No, but I can just tell like parts. I can feel them, if that makes sense. Like I can feel, and from that, it's like I know. Does that make sense?
Not really.
Not really.
So like, what is it that you know about them? About a person? Like specific situations? Do you know?
Well, I know about. It's sometimes it's different for everybody. Like everybody that I get in contact with, but some people I just know what their issues are. Like I'm a healer, and so I know what they need to heal. I know what issues are that they need to heal. Sometimes it's like their personality, and I can tell like aspects about their personality. I can feel their energy.
Sure.
Like if they are a good person or quote unquote a bad person. I don't.
Well, there's
Yeah,
no such thing
there's
as
no such thing as like a bad. I mean, there is, but
well, there is and there isn't. I mean,
ultimately, at their core, we're all the same. We're all good.
yeah, we're
We're
all
all.
just the essence of love, that energy of love. I
Mhm.
truly believe that
Mhm.
that's the case.
Yeah, and just some people are very unconscious to who they truly are,
Hmm.
and they live their life from different programs and belief patterns and ideas that actually oppose their very essence.
Sure, sure. So
And
you're
so
talking
from
about
that's
more, you know them more on like the materialistic kind of plane, like the plane of our existence here, right? Like how people act, how like
mm,
if people are mean to others or judge others or whatever we deem, not good, the opposite of good. So you know them kind of on that and what they can do to heal those things.
well, yes and no. Honestly, like it's different for everybody I meet. Like sometimes I don't get anything from people, and
Hmm.
other times I'll meet them and like I just know.
Hmm.
It's really hard to explain. I just know.
Interesting.
It's like you. When I met you, I knew you.
Hmm. That's
Okay,
dope.
like there isn't really anything about you that surprised me.
Hmm.
And most people I meet, there's nothing really about most people that surprises me. Once I
Yeah.
get to know them and have conversations with them, there's nothing that I'm like, wow, I never would have thought that.
Hmm.
Because most of it's just like, yeah, of course.
That makes sense.
So it's different. It's not like I know XYZ about about everybody when I meet them. It's honestly like
Sure.
it's different.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain because it's something that is newer for me. Like I've
Well, you've.
discovered that I'm a knower
Hmm.
about a year and a half ago. I just thought I was judgmental before.
Sure.
I never thought I had any spiritual gifts. And it wasn't until I started working with Brooke, who explained things to me and
Sure.
clarified things, and it helped make a lot of sense. And so through this trip, I connected more with my knowing and trusting that, and then also um, connecting more with my dream world. My
Hmm.
dream world is really amazing.
Very
It's
cool.
really magical. And so learning more about my dreams and what I can do in my dreams to help others and get teachings from and learn more about this reality or unreality and
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean with dreams, I don't think in like Western society we really appreciate dreams like dreams have been appreciated in the past. Like look at like the Native Americans, how they use dreams and like that was like a really big thing, and not just in Native American culture, but uh,
in Egyptian culture
in
too.
Egyptian culture,
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of like the great mystic religions and um, you know different people's cultures. Dreams have always been such a very deep and rich world
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
were used for so many different things, right? For healing and for prophecy or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't appreciate dreams.
No, and I love dreams. Every night I dream and I
Yeah.
remember them every night. And I actually remember when I think I was 13 or 14. That summer, I had like so many amazing dreams. Like I would be so excited to go to sleep just to dream because I just loved
Yeah.
the dream world so much. And now Egypt and my experiences in Egypt are helping me connect to my gifts in the dream world in a new magical way.
How cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also feeling, because I never thought that I was a feeler, but I walked into spaces. I mean, okay, we've all gone to the mall over Christmas and you can feel that energy. And it, like, for me, I can't be in it for very long. Or
Yeah.
airports or airplanes when there's a lot of people, we can all feel that energy. I've always felt that, but I've never felt subtleties in energy as much as I did on this trip, which was really cool. Just with some of the practices that we've done, like a chakra opening. I don't know what to call it, but a chakra opening practice that Brooke had done. I actually felt my chakras open up.
Crazy.
And there was different times when I saw light with my eyes closed, and in that situation I wouldn't have in the past. And so just starting to open up my gifts in a new way, which has been really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You know, I do think that, you know, most of us have these experiences, but I think most of them are pretty fleeting, you know, where we have like, you know, our gut instinct, you know, it's like, oh, we feel it in our gut, you know, this is about to happen, or, you know, this person that you just kind of get.
You get a feeling, yeah.
You get a feeling around it, but most of us just kind of disregard it and we don't trust it.
Yeah, and even people convince you that you're not actually, like, people convince you that what you feel or sense isn't real.
Oh, for sure. That, you know, this external world, this external reality is real. Like, you know, I can touch this, you know, table, and then that's real because I can feel that with one of my senses.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in Vancouver, I had gone out with friends one night, and we went to the rooftop patio, the keg in Yaletown, and we had met this guy, and I immediately got, this is the knowing thing, I immediately was like, ooh, this guy, no. And he was like shaking each one of my friends' hands, and then he would like take their hand and try and kiss it. And then for me, I like, it was really weird actually, because I actually got a vision. When he touched me and tried to kiss my hand, I got a vision, and it wasn't a very good vision. And it was, I believe, something that he'd done to somebody else. And so I kind of like pulled my hand back. I jerked it back really fast and was like, oh no. And I mentioned something to this other girl that was with us. And I was just like, no, like that was, I no, like the energy,
Strange.
everything is off on this guy. And I'm not really interested in interacting. And so, and she's not a friend of mine. And she was an acquaintance. And she was just like, listen, I'm clairvoyant, and what else does she call herself? She said she was clairvoyant and she could channel or something. And she's like, there's nothing wrong with this guy.
Okay.
And I was just like, remember thinking like, okay, this was my experience that I had, and like, you're trying to disregard it. And that happens all the time to so many people. Yeah. You know, this is just like one instant where somebody was trying to convince me that what I knew and what I felt and what I saw wasn't real. And this happens, I think, thousands of times to everybody. And so I think everybody has gifts, and they're different, but we all have them, and we just might not be tuned into them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so a number of weeks ago, I was doing a meditation just here on the sofa. And, you know, I closed my eyes, and I had this feeling that I was in between realities, that like I could sense like this like other side of the veil. Like, let's say there's like this
very cool.
Oh man, it's so hard to like put the stuff into words, right? Because it's like, you know, how do you describe a feeling, right? But it wasn't even necessarily a feeling. It was like more than a feeling, because I actually saw that there was another reality in and around me. You know, I was here and I could see it, and then I could also kind of sort of see this other thing that was happening all around here, like in our living room. But like it had no effect on this plane.
Right.
You know, like I was just sitting there in this living room, but then there was like an entire other world around me. And you know, it was pretty intense actually. Like
that's so cool.
I actually like started kind of weeping a little bit, because like it was very emotional, like just to see that. But then, you know, it come after, like the day after, I started questioning the experience. Like, well, what the hell was that? You know, like, what are you going fucking nuts? Like, you know, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, sometimes we question our own experiences too, and take it away from ourselves.
Oh,
that's very true. Actually, that's a great point.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I do that too.
I think of something, I feel something, you know, I see something, and you know, as I've been meditating more, I feel more inside, like more subtle vibrations. I you know, I get these kind of like little impulses of something. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
can't explain it. But then, my little mind goes in there. It's like, yeah, making this crap up. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're
I know,
going nuts.
you're crazy. You didn't see that.
Yeah, that's not real. Come on.
No,
like,
you
what?
just wanted to see it, so you're just telling yourself you saw that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this reality is more real.
Yeah,
Look at Trump.
Look at. You
Meh.
can feel this table. You can feel this counter. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I do that too. Yeah, one other weird thing that's been happening to me is I see dimensions shifting around me. Like
Ooh.
literally the world around me shifts. It's really trippy. It's like you're on drugs and I'm not on drugs, but everything's moving like I'm on drugs. And it's really easy to convince yourself like you didn't actually see that. You didn't actually see that
Yeah.
suddenly come into focus or like, yeah.
Yeah. It's, I think the other problem too is, when you start becoming too vocal about it, and like, let's say you are using your gifts and you can like do some crazy things. Well, okay, there's two problems with that. I mean, one, you got to be careful because like, they're going to come and like knock on your door. Like, excuse me, Miss Emerson. Can you come with us, please?
I don't think that that's not a concern of mine.
No.
Is that a concern of yours?
No. I mean, if I was, like able to like pick up like fruit and like toss them across the room with my mind, I might.
You might think twice.
I might think twice about, putting that on YouTube. But,
no, because there's enough people on YouTube who will say why it's not real.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't have anything to worry about.
That
start throwing fruit across the room, babe. Let's see it.
Yeah. I'll start practicing that.
Yeah.
That's my next skill.
I love it.
Yeah, throwing fruit. But no, I think the other thing, and we kind of touched on this in one of the episodes, is it could also be a bit of an ego trap too. Those like because there's that ultra spiritual ego.
Oh my God, I love the ultra spiritual ego.
It's one of my favorites.
It is. It's so entertaining.
It's definitely one of my favorites. And
I love it too because like I've seen parts of myself be like that in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
definitely.
the whole vegan thing. Like I'm a vegan. I'm not a vegan anymore, by the way. But it's like you see that in vegans.
Oh, absolutely.
Not every vegan.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to blanket statement everybody. I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
But
there's this like kind of almost righteous judgment.
Yeah.
Around those things,
totally.
right?
But then it's like it's really great because it gives me the opportunity to question myself. I'm like, is this me being ultra spiritual and my ego just like convincing myself that I'm, so cool and I can see stuff and I'm so spiritual?
Yeah.
Or is this actually happening?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's good. It's good to question.
It is. And I think that's part of it. Like we definitely have to question and, not judge. I think that's the key is really not judge anything and anybody, like no matter what anybody is doing, what they're into. I'm part of one of these Facebook groups that's like, this like spiritual group.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing like how much drama happens in these groups.
Oh my God, I know.
These are spiritual people and they're, this one person commented, I don't know, he said something rude to a person. And this other girl like flies off the handle saying, it's like, here we are, we're all in this spiritual group together. And here you are, you troll. What the hell are you doing here?
And she's behaving in the exact same way that he is.
Oh my God, exactly.
Doesn't see
she's
it.
like, admin, are you seeing this? Like, get this troll out of this group. She's freaking out.
Oh my.
Yeah. And it's, it's so funny. It's so funny watching it because I see it and part of me wants to react like, hey, lady, just chill out a little bit. But I don't feel like I'm in the place to even, comment because it doesn't really matter, right?
No, it doesn't matter. I think the best thing to do is just like energetically send everybody love.
Yeah, exactly. And not judge.
And like you can just see it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It could be a beautiful teaching if you look at it from the right perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit back and you're just like, like, was I triggered from this? And why was I triggered? And is there a little piece of me in this? Like, what can I learn from this? Like, why did my soul choose for me to see that?
Yeah.
Like, what is this that I'm supposed to learn?
I think it's an opportunity for, when I hear or see those kinds of things, I think it's an opportunity for me to kind of get present and just watch it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's a huge responsibility that we have, is that through like conscious seeing, those things actually get healed. Because the thing is that if we all stick our head in the sand and pretend that like there's no craziness happening around the world, well, we can all pretend that nothing's happening, right? It's like those like dark corners of our
It
mind.
just really enables the problem.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. And I mean, everything is an internal journey for ourselves,
Mhm.
right? So when you see something like that, that's in your experience, well, that's happening to you on some level.
Mhm.
And that's an opportunity for that thought, that feeling, whatever that event is, to actually come up to the surface. And then in the light of presence, it gets healed,
To transform. Yeah.
right? But if we don't do that, we either fly off the handle ourselves or just get like sucked into it like a vortex.
Mhm.
And then that doesn't get healed at all. And then it remains hidden.
Yeah, exactly. Every time that we get triggered or, like you say, witness something like that, it's really an opportunity to change a pattern within.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's really cool. I love how we have these conversations, and like your way of looking at things is so different from mine, but it's awesome because I think like both of us add so much value. And I just love how you, like what you just shared right there, because I love how it made me realize, like, yeah, it is the opportunity to shift and transform. I thank you.
Yeah, no, it's I love these kinds of conversations.
Yeah,
They're
me
so
too.
fun.
I just like how our minds are so different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really goes to show that, everybody really has their own specific path, right?
Own
Certain
journey.
words resonate with certain
Totally,
people, certain
totally.
events, transform a person in a certain way.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a good opportunity to say, like, when Bart and I first started dating, we've been together for almost 5 years.
Yeah,
Did
almost.
you realize that? 5
Yeah.
years. But
Okay.
anyway, when we first started dating, we would have these spiritual conversations and we would end up arguing because Bart uses a very different language than what I use. Or I use a very different language from what Bart uses. And so it took us like a good probably year to figure out that we were actually saying the exact same things, but using different words.
Yeah. And let's be honest, like it wasn't really like argument.
It wasn't an argument, but we would get frustrated with each other.
There was a little bit of frustration.
Because I would
for
be
sure.
like, no, I'm trying to say this, and this is like my point of view. And you'd be like, yeah, but also this. And I'm like, yeah, but this. Yeah, but this. And we kept going back and forth.
And we were talking about the exact
we
same
were
thing.
talking about the exact same thing. And so I love it because I love how you just, you're talking about how the words that you use will resonate with certain people and the words that I use resonate with certain people. And it's just, it's awesome. It's so great.
And I think that's, another reason why we like to have people on the show too, right? Just to hear another perspective, right?
Totally.
And what I love about, reading spiritual texts is I don't read them ever for trying to get more knowledge, because I don't, it's all the exact same thing. I don't actually care to learn anything new anymore, right? Like, but it's the language that people use, and sometimes it's like the signpost kind of resonates in a slightly different way that makes me have a slightly different aha.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing you say through words that you're using that I wouldn't use,
Go on.
but I'm
Yes.
translating. So tell me if I'm understanding correctly.
Go on.
Is that for you, it's not that you don't care about learning, but it's about experiencing it differently now.
Yes,
It's
of course.
experiencing. So you still want to experience, and through your experience, you'll learn versus like cognitively
Yes.
understanding.
Yeah, I don't care.
Like you could read, like everything you read is the same.
Yeah,
Like when
exactly.
you read Neil Donald Walsh versus Wayne Dyer versus Deepak Chopra versus Gabby Bernstein, like all these teachers, Marianne Williamson, it's like everybody's really saying the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And so this is just, am I understanding you correctly when you're saying like you don't want to learn in a brain mind way, but
No.
it's like an experience way
Absolutely.
and learning through experience.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. See, this is great because when we first started dating, I would have been like, what do you mean you don't want to learn anymore?
Yeah, I don't want to learn anymore. I don't care to hear, another word for the ego.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
to know, how to balance my chakras. I don't care to know
But you want to experience
I
the
want- yeah.
balancing of your chakras.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't,
So in my mind, I'm like, just say that then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's different, right? Like
It is, but I understand what you're saying. I totally get it.
it's the mind, right? Because at the beginning, I was picking up these books. It's like, oh my God, there's this thing called the ego. Holy crap. Oh my God.
Do I have an ego?
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't have an ego, but let's keep going on
Other
here.
people have an ego. That guy over there definitely
Yeah.
has an ego. She definitely has an ego.
Yeah.
All these people have ego. I don't
That
have
person
an ego.
there has the biggest ego I've ever seen. Oh my God. So it was all these new concepts and ideas.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I was so hungry for all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then you get to a point, it's like, oh, well, shit, this guy calls it an ego. This person calls it like the pain body. This person calls it
The mind.
the
Yeah.
little self. Like,
Mhm.
it's the exact same thing that we're talking about. So I don't care. Like the labels don't interest me. What I really want now,
You're saying you don't want to entertain the ego anymore.
yes,
The mind.
yes,
Yeah.
because that stuff doesn't really. It does interest me, I guess,
It
a
keeps
little
you
bit.
chasing your tail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And anybody can memorize a book.
Oh, that's
and that's where the spiritual ego comes in. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people who have read a lot,
Mhm.
but they haven't experienced, and
Oh,
that's
big
the
time.
difference, right? There's a difference between like, oh yeah, I could recite the whole Course of Miracles, or
Yeah.
I could recite, what it means to
the
be
Bible.
present,
You can
and
recite like,
the law of
this and this
attraction and
quote
manifesting
in this
and-
book, this
Yeah.
paragraph.
and you could sound really smart.
Yeah, page 16.
You could sound really, really awake and enlightened.
Yep, paragraph 3.
But if you're not-
subsection 2 states that.
Yeah, but it's the difference between embodying, which is having the experience, and
Mm-hmm.
actually bringing it in to you in like a soul sort of sense, versus, oh, I'm having this experience and I can understand it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different. I get what you're saying.
And that's like, the perfect example is, let's rag on like, Christians in the crusade, right? It's like, oh, here we're going to go and we're going to fight for the Bible and we're going to kill a bunch of people, just fuck those people, here's like, they're trying to embody this text, this like, speaking of love and forgiveness and all these things, but you know what, we need to kill everyone who doesn't believe this crap. Like,
Believe this crap. Believe this truth.
yes, that's right. That's a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me.
Mhm.
And these spiritual groups are so perfect. Like these spiritual
Sometimes they
ego,
can be a lot of the same.
it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Yeah. And something that we were talking about the other day, everybody's dealing with the exact same issues, it seems.
Yeah, I know. It's
You
been
know,
really
it's like-
fascinating.
The external manifestation might be slightly different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because every situation is slightly different. People have
Mhm.
different experiences. People
Mhm.
have different lives. But at the end of the day, it all stems from one big problem, and that's just not connecting with their truth, not going in and asking for, that knowledge or that knowing to come forward and actually, run your life, right? So all these things manifest in people's lives and create so much chaos. Like there's so much chaos
Yeah, like people are just so focused on the external versus the internal.
Yes.
People are focused on having other people change for
Yep.
them to make them more comfortable, rather than changing yourself and healing yourself and connecting deeper with yourself and deepening your own self-love and self-worth and living from that space.
Mhm.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like that thing that Eckhart Tolle says, suffering is needed until it's not,
Yeah.
right? Like I love that line
I
because
love it too. I can totally relate to it because I used to transform through my suffering and now I transform through joy.
yes, it's
It's so much more fun.
it's so much better. Yeah. And I posted something on Facebook just the other day, and the line was, how do you know you're on the right path? And that's, by how much joy do you feel at this present moment,
Mhm.
right? Because that becomes the path, right?
Mhm.
That becomes the way that you experience the world, and your growth is
Mhm.
through joy all of a
Mhm.
sudden.
Mhm.
Right? When you reach at that place where you just surrender and say, fuck it, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to step back and, whatever this grand totality is, like, you tell me what to do today.
Mhm.
And when you live from that place, all of a sudden, your life gets easier and easier and easier. And then,
And more joyful, more joyful, more joyful.
Absolutely. And then you get to actually experience that and, okay, well, I'm a little bit anxious. So something that I'm doing means that I'm not on the right path. And then you realign. It's like, okay, now I'm feeling good again. It's like, and now I'm heading in that direction towards more joy. And,
it's like using joy as your gauge. I love it. Yeah.
Super
I'm all
cool.
about joy and love.
Super cool. So Egypt.
So Egypt, that was a bit of a tangent.
Yes, a nice long tangent. But
I felt a little out of it at the beginning of this podcast. I still feel like there's parts of me in Egypt that haven't fully arrived back yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you?
I feel like I'm still in the experience.
You're still processing.
Yeah, I'm still processing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened.
A lot of stuff.
You visited a lot of temples.
There's a lot of woo woo that happened. And I'm like, wow, I'm really embodying this woo woo. I'll talk about it when I'm more comfortable and I've deciphered what exactly has been happening to me.
It's amazing. So tell me then, how are you going to live your life going forward? Like anything a little bit different? Like how do you see things going and unfolding going forward?
I just want to keep being chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just want to keep taking inspired action, come from a place that is from my heart. When my heart wants me to do something and when I feel that joy and excitement and love just really come from that place and just embodying more of my gifts.
Cool.
Learning more about my gifts and experiencing my gifts. That's what I plan to do moving forward.
I like that.
Just more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like my perspective on reality has shifted so much. I mean, it was shifted before I went to Egypt, but I feel like I've experienced because I've witnessed things that I've never witnessed before. And so the reality in which I live in is different. And so just living from this new space and continuing to question what is reality and continuing to question my world and my role in it and continuing to connect with my soul and communicate with my soul and just living life from that space.
That's cool.
I can probably answer more once I've completed processing this whole Egypt journey. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, something that you're gonna have to kind of help me with is, stopping me from chasing my tail because
you chased your tail a lot while I was gone.
There were certain things that I chased my tails on.
Yeah, there was, but also you did some amazing work too.
Yeah.
But I can tell when you chase your tail, but you can probably tell when I chase my tail.
Yeah. I get frustrated and I want to get things done yesterday and I want things to unfold at my speed.
I know.
Because I know better, than the
I'm
universe.
like that too, but at the end of the day, you know what? I really feel that there's been a huge shift for me since we got married in September.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a big shift in how I approach our business.
Mm-hmm.
I really do feel that I have a lot more surrender and I'm okay with not working and then just working when I feel inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before it was like hustle, hustle, hustle. We got to get this done. We got to do this. We got to do this. We had like this huge long to-do list.
Yeah.
And now we do still have a huge long to-do list, but I just feel like everything will fall into place as it's supposed to, and I will take the right actions when I feel like it.
Yeah, it's so funny because now looking back at since we started, there were so many things that we did that didn't really go anywhere. I mean, it was all part of the journey, right? Because we had to learn a bunch and all these things.
So
but
much.
I felt like I chased my tail a lot, and I was stressing out a bunch because I wanted to get things done a certain way. And I mean, our focus has like changed so many times, and I mean,
it may continue to.
The main goal, I mean, of course, is always
it's always been the same.
The mission is always the same. The vehicle has changed somewhat here and there.
Yeah.
And but meanwhile, the certain inspired actions that we've done throughout this entire time have rang true and are still true to this day.
Yeah. And have you noticed too that when we've been taking the inspired action, things get done so much faster, so much more efficient.
Boy.
And the response from you, our Spirit Ninja tribe, has been greater.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like the impact that we have when it comes from that place is so much greater.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we've done less quote unquote work, but we've grown our business so much faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
It's insane. It's insane how it works.
Work less and
Achieve more.
achieve more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a totally different way of, existing in the world. And
It takes a lot of surrender, which has been
does.
difficult
it does.
at times. It's actually less and less difficult now.
It takes practice. Like
Yeah.
something that I shed while you were gone is trying to wake up early. I'm done. After years of struggling with it. And
This
I
has
finally
been like this battle for you for over a year since we moved to Spain.
for my entire life, practically.
Yeah, but especially since we moved to Spain.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's like, I gotta get up. I gotta hustle. There's things to be done.
I've been very entertained by your process and watching you and your process.
I finally shed it. I'm like, I don't want to get up until I want to get up. So,
it's awesome.
Yeah. Stopped putting the alarm on,
Yeah, there would be actually almost every morning Bart would be like, okay, I'm getting up, and I'd just be I'd still
it was
sleep.
such a struggle. Like there's like 4 different alarms on on so many different devices, and I had to
Why
leave the one in like the other room, so I had to like chase it in the morning.
It's just not necessary. Love.
Yeah, I quit that. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna sleep.
And what's really funny is now that I'm back, because we got up at like 3 a.m. so many times when I was in Egypt, I'm now waking up early and Bart's like wanting to sleep more.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's so funny.
It's amazing.
Don't worry, I love sleeping, so my clock will adjust again and
accordingly.
I will be back to waking up at 9 a.m.
So good.
So anyway, should we wrap this?
Yes, guys. So thanks for listening to us babble for a while.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching.
Good
and
times.
On our podcast, thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please share this with your friends if you found it entertaining and if you got some ahas from it. And, let us know what your ahas are. Can you connect? Are you a knower as well?
Yeah, let us know if you can reach out anywhere on any of our social media.
Anywhere, just please let us know if you're listening.
We're freaking anywhere on whatever social media platform. You just search Spirit Ninjas, you'll find us.
Yeah,
there's ways to connect. The world is small now, so
join our tribe on Facebook.
Love you. All right.
Ciao.
Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Spirit Ninjas Spiritual as Fuck podcast. Make sure to tune in next time for more deep conversations to uplift, inspire, and blow your mind. Spiritual as fuck.